A long time ago, the Qin dynasty ruled China. They joined a series of fortifications to make one grand structure. Today we call it the Great Wall of China. Why was it built? To protect the people of China, they were told. Also to exert control on them. How? By forcing them to build that wall. Peasants, slaves, rebels, they were all forced into construction in the name of prosperity. Armies were deployed to ensure they did what they were told. This was the beginning of a tradition that lasted for centuries. Emperors and dynasties followed. They improved the wall's design, they added to its magnificence and used the same tools, oppression and tyranny. Today, China has a new emperor. He too has mesmerized his people into a dream of empire building, and he too resorts to oppression to realize this dream. He makes a new assault every week in the name of bringing prosperity. He talks of common prosperity and rejuvenation. Well, that's a sales pitch. And he's destroying livelihoods and lives in the process. Hello and welcome to Gravitas Plus. I'm Palki Sharma Upadhyay. In October 2020, Chinese regulators forced the Ant Group to suspend its $37 billion IPO. The company's owner, Jack Ma, disappeared. He was untraceable for 3 months. Then in February 2021, a web of new regulations by the Communist Party wiped off $1 trillion from Chinese tech stocks. $1 trillion. In July, China's biggest ride-hailing app, Didi, was removed from all app stores in the country. In August, China's private education industry, a multi-billion-dollar business, was decimated overnight by a ban on private tuitions. In September, China's national curriculum was appended. Textbooks were rewritten to match the president's vision. Xi Jinping's thought, a political doctrine that was introduced in schools. Then China went after Evergrande, its largest real estate developer. It was subjected to a series of probes. Today, Evergrande is struggling to pay billions in debt. The crackdown extended to entertainment. China banned reality shows inspired by the West and influencers who were quote-unquote deemed too feminine. Also struck was the online gaming industry. Games were ordered to portray a correct set of values. Then came personality cults, like Zhao Wei, one of China's wealthiest actresses with millions of adoring fans. Beijing had her movies and news mentions scrubbed from the internet as if she never existed. All these crackdowns have prompted observers, investors, and literally anyone with a stake in the Chinese economy to ask a very pertinent question. What on earth is going on? Beijing has a new target every week. From capitalist enterprises to real estate developers, from tech titans to private tutors, from gaming companies to TV shows, from celebrities to quote-unquote effeminate influencers. No one is being spared in China. The crackdowns are both striking and significant. They point at a structural rectification. The CCP is tightening the screw on every sector and aspect of life. It's redrawing the very boundaries of business and society in China. What explains this? The paranoia of one man, Xi Jinping, a leader driven by the need for control, a man who likes to project himself as a savior. Xi Jinping has often been compared to Mao ZEDONG, the founder of the Chinese Communist Party, someone who functioned like a demigod. Mao ravaged his country in pursuit of communist ideals, and yet he commanded respect and adoration from the masses. No Chinese leader has ever commanded the same kind of respect or following. Not until Xi Jinping. Since coming to power in 2012, he has consolidated his control on the CCP, solidified his hold over the country. Some say he's even outshone Mao Zedong. Just look at how powerful he is right now. He heads all major institutions of power, from the party to the presidency to national security to the military. He's literally the chairman of all things in China. His name and ideology is enshrined in China's constitution. His power is absolute, his ambitions quite dreadful. Under Xi Jinping, we're seeing the rise of a paranoid superpower, one that wants to eliminate all perceived threats. And this paranoia can be traced to Xi Jinping's writings. Take this 2017 party publication, for example, where he wrote, and I'm quoting, "As the world's largest party, no external force can defeat us. Only we can defeat ourselves. We should stay alert of factors that could weaken our party's pioneering nature. Otherwise, small problems will grow into big ones. Minor slips will escalate into an irreversible landslide, probably even leading to broader and subversive catastrophe." Today, this exaggerated threat perception drives every single step that China takes, both internally and externally. The geopolitical jousting with its neighbors, the incursions in the South China Sea, the naval aggression in the Indo-Pacific, the border provocations in Ladakh, the bullying acts against Taiwan, the erasure of Tibetan identity, the repression of Uyghurs in Xinjiang, the purging of political opponents, and now a crackdown on the rich and the influential. All of this is being driven by Xi Jinping's paranoia and insecurity. He wants control, and he also wants to fulfill some prophecies. You see, when the foundation of the Communist Party was laid, its leaders set out 2 centennial goals. Goal number 1, they envisioned China as a moderately prosperous society by 2021, which marks 100 years of the CCP's formation. Goal number 2, they envisioned China as a global hegemon by 2049, which marks the 100th anniversary of the People's Republic of China. Shortly after his election in 2012, Xi Jinping called for his party to return to this mission and to achieve the 2 centennial goals. He unleashed an avalanche of change aimed at seeking rejuvenation and common prosperity. These 2 catchwords, they're tucked in every decision he takes. The CCP follows them like a mantra. They're woven into every state policy. What do they even mean in the Chinese context? The term rejuvenation encapsulates Xi Jinping's overriding objective: build his nation into a true global superpower, command the world's respect. That's what he wants. Common prosperity, on the other hand, is about making the life of every Chinese citizen happier, safer, healthier. It essentially means expanding the pie and dividing the pie. In practice, it means robbing the rich to feed the poor. Well, that sounds like a noble cause, except that it's not. Xi Jinping is not Robin Hood. Robin Hood was an outlaw. Xi Jinping is the law. He cannot be robbing his people. He cannot be going after individuals and entities that become too powerful or rich, that he thinks must be tamed. That is not social justice. That is power consolidation. Also, how did these people become rich and powerful? They are the products of China's hybrid communism. For decades, the Communist Party upheld capitalism. It promoted what is called trickle-down economics. It believed that allowing some people to make money is going to benefit all. In fact, in 1978, Deng Xiaoping, the then leader of China, said on record that China had no choice but to let some people get rich first. So much for communism. So why is the state going after them now? Because nothing else is working. The Belt and Road is failing, the economy is under stress, there is a power crunch, there is a shortage of chips, and to top it all, the Wuhan virus has poisoned the world. China's policy of zero tolerance has left it friendless. Tourism, hospitality, retail sectors, they're all suffering in China. Xi Jinping is suffering multiple setbacks, and he's blaming all of this on the rich and famous in China. He wants to harvest the wealth of the elite to win the loyalty of the poor. We told you about Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba. He once used to be the poster child of China's technological rise. Today, he's public enemy number 1. How did that happen? Because he dared to criticize the system. In October last year, Jack Ma called China's financial system a pawn shop that lacked innovation. Beijing slapped his company with a $3.7 billion fine, accusing him of breaching anti-monopoly laws. Hardly a day has gone by in recent months without the news of a fresh crackdown in China. Tencent, Evergrande, Meituan, Kanzun, Full Truck Alliance. The list keeps getting longer and nobody dares to protest. The fear of repression is enough to keep them in line. Memories of failed political revolutions are still alive in the minds of Chinese. They're passed down to the current generation as whispered warnings. The people of China have made an unspoken bargain of sorts with their government. The government promises a decent life to anyone who works hard. And in exchange, they stay out of politics. They stay silent when billionaires are jailed, look away when homes are forcefully demolished, and ignore protesters who climb rooftops. In China, George Orwell's predictions have come true. His dystopian script is playing out as reality. How long will this reality last? Well, only if Orwell were here to tell us.